40 for Rateable Crest Titans.
Welcome to Special Stage and welcome to round 3 of the 2019 Jordan Road Surfacing BCRDA Rally Championship. And so far this season, on the first 2 rounds, you have to say the man in control of this title fight is Ewan Thorburn, and he's back again, and I've never seen him with such strong resolve, even when they won the title, he and Paul Beaton, back in 2013. A whole host of other drivers looking to take the top spot and try and change that trajectory here at round 3 though, not least Stephen Petch, who's had a ridiculously bad start to this title hunt, retiring at round 1 with mechanical problems with the diff on the car and in a ditch at round 2. So the fight is well and truly on, and we're here in Sweet Lamb for a very different looking Rally Nuts stages in mid Wales.
Winner last time out, Ewan Thorburn leads the cruiserweight. In fact, he won the last 2 rounds. A number of crews though behind, all looking to change their look around this season, and you would be a fool to bet against any of them. Onto the stages then, and it would indeed be Ewan Thorburn and Paul Beaton leading the way once again. The championship couldn't have been going any better for the pair. This round was looking like more of the same as well. 29 seconds the advantage after the morning loop of stages. For Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson, it would be second. A great start for the pair, who really needed to get some points on the board this weekend. They were finding all of the grip variable, but clearly they were on the pace and pushing. Mark Donnelly and Di Roberts joined the series this weekend, the first time back out for Mark in 2 years. It seems though that none of that pace had gone away. 3rd place overall at this stage, just 8 seconds back from Petch. A couple of overshoots not helping, of course, with their progress. And retirement last time out would spur Conor McCloskey and Noel O'Sullivan on to want a fantastic result this weekend. That was certainly the plan. Sadly, they'd be hampered with an intercooler pipe coming off on the 2nd stage of the day, losing them a bit of valuable time. There would also be problems for this man, Charlie Payne. Carl Williamson alongside, brake issues, the order of the day, causing a bit of a worry. Thankfully, nothing failed in the stages themselves. Still, not nice to arrive at a corner and wonder if you're going to stop. Pumping those brakes, they lie in 5th place for now. A strong result last time out for that escort. Cosworth would give Ian Joel and Graham Wood the confidence to push once again this weekend, and they had the fans on their side. They reached the end of the morning with the lead in the B13 class, as well as 6th on our overall leaderboard. Just behind them in the class, and probably just as popular, were Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere, just 9 seconds between them going into service. They'd be hunting that escort Cosworth pair down in the afternoon in that Mitsubishi. A puncture towards the end of the opening stage of the day would set Sam Billum and Patrick Walsh back a little on the leaderboard. They were still inside our top 10. This was still all about learning the car, of course, for Sam, a big step up this season. This weekend will be the first time out on dry stages in the Fiesta R5. In the NR4 class, it would be the early lead for Scott Faulkner and Gareth Parry. The times as close as ever. They were pushing hard as well, thankfully just enough to be ahead going into the midday service. Those times and that slim advantage, though, wouldn't allow for any mistakes at all. Just 3 seconds between Faulkner and Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence. The pair second in the class at this stage, rounding out the top 10 leaderboard as well at this stage in the rally. And just knocking on the top 10 this weekend at this stage will be 3rd in the B13 class, Richard Sykes and Simon Taylor. A steady run on their first time in the dry conditions, especially after going off the road on the last time out at the Malcolm Wilson Rally. So we are 4 stages down here at the Rally Nuts stages. It's Thorburn dominating once again in that Focus WRC. Stephen Petch looking like his season was turning around a bit now, in 2nd place on a hard charge. Let's head into the afternoon stages then, here in mid-Wales on the Rally Nuts stages, and we'd see some changes in the overall and B13 class results. We lose Cozzy pairing Ian Joel and Graham Wood. That would mean a step up to third in the class for Richard Hill and Stefan Evans. A good run for the pair, putting them in the perfect position to take that result at the end of the rally. This change around in the leaderboard would of course see a number of others moving the right way on the results. Richard Sykes and Simon Taylor moving up a place now into the top 10 overall with 10th, as well as second in B13. That is a good result on their first event in dry conditions in that car. No change though in the NR full class. Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence unable to get any time back on the class leaders through the afternoon, forced to take second place in class this weekend. The loss of Joel would benefit this man, Matthew Hurst, Declan Deere alongside. They were chasing the Escort pair down already, but the retirement meant that they happily finished the rally with 8th place on the leaderboard. They take that B13 class victory. And talking of victories, it would be the NR4 class win this weekend for Scott Faulkner and Gareth Parry. Hard fought as well. They'd given it everything they had. They managed to take that win at the end of the rally by just 5 seconds, showing just how close it is in the BTRDA and particularly in the NR4 class this season. Those earlier problems would have held Sam Billam and Patrick Walsh back a little, but they do manage to repeat their round 2 results, bagging themselves 6th place on the overall leaderboard here at the Rally Nuts stages. Just ahead of Billam on the results, and there wouldn't be much in the way of change either, Charlie Payne and Carl Williamson settling for 5th place this weekend in the Fiesta. A good result for the Simpson Motorsport pair, but of course, not the victory that they are always hunting down. Conor McCloskey and Noel O'Sullivan would have valued that trip over from Ireland a little more this weekend. They're glad to make it to the end of the rally this time out, those earlier issues with the turbo not holding them back too much. The pair ending the rally with 4th on our leaderboard. The only change, and it is a notable one in the top of the results, would be for this man, Stephen Petch, Michael Wilkinson co-driving for him. They couldn't hold on to that 2nd place. They end the rally as a result with that final step on the podium. Given their DNFs from the first 2 rounds of the championship, that would surely be a welcomed finish though for the pair. Some valuable points on the board. That, of course, meant that it was 2nd place for Mark Donnelly and Di Roberts. A great start to the championship, a signal of intent, perhaps, and a good, strong return to the stages after a 2-year absence. And all of that, if you've been following, means that it would be 3 in a row for Ewan Thorburn and Paul Beaton. The championship well and truly in their hands to lose now, seemingly unbeatable in that focus. They take victory by just a second under a minute by the end of the rally. The story starting to sow its seed then. Confirmation of the results here on the Rally Nuts stages. Thorburn taking victory, with Donnelly sneaking into the mix, up among the regulars this time out.
Ewan, I'm sure somewhere in the depths of history it's not unprecedented to have the first 3 from 3, but I haven't known it done for a while. 3 out of 3.
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously had a year's layoff last year, so didn't expect to come back and win so early, but to get 3 on the trot, like you say, is pretty unprecedented. So yeah, delighted. Another good win. Good rally. The car's been brilliant. Paul's done a good job. So all in all, brilliant day.
The Silver Star entry on the Rally Nuts stages would see some new faces coming out to do battle. Ben Friend leading our crews away then. George Lepley brings out a new BRM engine in that Avenger this weekend, which means he starts among the main field contenders. Would that, though, make a difference? It would remain to be seen. On we go to the stages then as usual, and it would be the lead for our championship newcomers Ben Friend, Cliffy Simmons alongside. They take a small advantage at the top of our leaderboard. They reach the midpoint in the rally. That lead would be over current Silver Star favourites George Lepley and Tom Woodburn. The pair out, as we mentioned, with a new BRM engine this weekend, which puts them in the H3 class. It wasn't quite going to plan though, the gearbox not quite working as well as the engine was, slowing their pace somewhat, 7 seconds back from the lead at this stage. It would be a good start to the event, meanwhile, for Andrew Davison and Tom Murphy. They take the final step on the podium at this stage after the morning stages, something they would of course be looking to keep hold of into the afternoon, but they need pace as well as reliability, not two things which have always come so easily this season for the pair. The good news for Davison would be the gap back to 4th place, which was at this stage 25 seconds over this pair. Bob Vardy, Caron Tomlinson, they lead the B10 class from just outside our podium positions. But could they find half a minute in the 2 afternoon stages? In the R2 class, it would be the lead for this man, Tony Simpson, Ian Bevan alongside. They lead the way in the class from 5th place on the leaderboard. A strong start to the rally for the pair then. They were driving well this weekend, everything coming together. Chasing Simpson down though for that R2 lead would be Perry Gardner and Keaton Williams. The gap was close as well, just 2 seconds in it at this stage in the rally. And indeed, it would be close in all of our podium positions in the class. James Giddings and Sean Cunniff just a further 4 seconds back from Gardner in 3rd. Zach Hughes and Tom Wood would once again take the lead in the N3 class in the older model Fiesta. It was going well for them this season as well so far, and this weekend was looking to be more of the same. 8th place on the leaderboard for now, a strong position to be fighting from too. Just behind Hughes and Wood on the overall leaderboard were Rob Wright and Terry Mallin. The pair not in the same class, of course. They were fighting in the B11 class, for that matter. They held 2nd place in that class at this stage as well. And rounding out the top 10 now were Tommy Meadows and Graham Wild. 9 seconds back from the podium R2 class fight. Not something that they couldn't chase for in the afternoon though. A bit of red mist setting in before 2 long stages to finish the rally. So we're 4 stages down and 2 long, grueling stages to go to make up the afternoon and to reach the finish of this rally. The results in the Silver Star look like this. On to the second half of the day then, and there would be no change for Phil Clark and Steve Pugh. They end the rally with 2nd place in B10 this weekend. There would be some change though in B11. Richard Warren and Chris Deal taking 3rd in the class through the afternoon stages, on a bit of a charge in ending the rally with 23rd overall. There'd be some afternoon frustration and a drop down the class results as a result of that for Colin Griffiths and Perida Davies. They end the rally with 2nd in the B12 class after leading all morning. Bittersweet, but still a good result from the BMW pair. No change in the class, no surprise there, but they were doing exactly what they came here to do. Rex Island and Adrian Scadding the only ones in H2, so that class position was theirs. In the N3 class though, it will be 3rd for David Kelly and Kenny Bustard. A good end to the rally for the Irish pair. There would be no change though through the afternoon stages for Bobby Mitchell and Shannon Turnbull in that class either. They end the rally with 2nd in N3 as well as 12th on the leaderboard. After that valuable time lost in the morning, it was all about trying to gain that back in the next few stages, or at least limiting the damage for Owen McMacken and Lee Taylor. They do manage to get themselves up as far as 11th, which was good enough for the B12 class victory this weekend. Not a bad comeback. On to our top 10 in Silver Star then, and it would be that 10th place for Zach Hughes and Tom Wood. The pair taking another victory in N3 this weekend as well with that result. Steve Ward and Mike Crawford get themselves up into the top 10 through the afternoon, ending the rally with 9th and still keeping hold of that 3rd in H3 as well. For Rob Wright and Terry Mallin, it will be 2nd in the B11 class. The gaps to the leaders in the category had grown through the afternoon, but they'd end the rally with 8th overall. Meanwhile, it was probably fair to say it had been a successful weekend for Bob Vardy and Caron Tomlinson. They take the B10 class victory this weekend, as well as 7th place overall in the Fiesta. There was some last-ditch disappointment, though, for James Giddings and Sean Cunniff, quite literally. They go off within the last mile of the final stage of the day, unable to get out of the ditch and having to end their rally so close to the finish and a strong result. For Tommy Meadows and Graham Wild, then, it will be promotion in that R2 class. They now step up to take third place and end the rally on a high. There was more change and a bit more disappointment as well in the R2 class for Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan. They slip out of the class lead through the afternoon stages, dropping some pace and having to settle for second place. But the fight was still close, just 10 seconds back from that class lead. And that all meant the victory this weekend would belong to Perry Gardner and Keaton Williams. A good end to round 3, taking maximum points in the R2 Cup. Onto our overall podium places then, and it would be a good end to the rally for Andrew Davison and Tom Murphy, managing to keep hold of that third overall, as well as taking the B11 class win in the process. For Ben Friend and Cliff Simmons, it will be second. The victory sadly evading them this time out, but the pair had showed some amazing pace out there on the stages in what was still a new car to them, let's not forget. But that all, of course, means that it's victory this weekend for the seemingly unstoppable George Lepley and Tom Woodburn. The pair overcome and drive to the problems on the car this weekend and put that extra power to good use, even if it was through one less wheel than they'd imagined, taking victory by the end of the rally by 12 seconds. So before we chat to our crews at the finish of this exciting Rally Nuts stages, here's confirmation of the final results in the Silver Star this weekend at round 3 of the BTRD8 Rally Series. Once again, the 1400 category would see the usual faces out to do battle. And it was a growing category as well. Winners from round 2, Callum Black and Michael Gilby lead the crews away with a 7-second advantage over the morning stages. Behind them on the leaderboard were Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. They weren't happy with their tyre choice, opting for too soft a tyre compound given the conditions. But it wasn't affecting the times, or so it would seem. For Dave and Toby Brick, it will be a hard-charging third. A little further back on the times than you might have expected, though. They just weren't feeling it in the car this morning and unable to chase for that lead. No explanations, no rally driver excuses here. Knocking on the door of the podium positions once again, meanwhile, were Steve Black and Paul Morris. 9 seconds back from Brick at this stage and still putting the pressure on. For Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt, it would be 5th. Some good times over the morning, seeing them take that position overall in the Micra. And second of our rear-wheel drive crews in the results at this stage will be Noel Lappin and Will Atkins. Great to see the variety in this 1400 category. And with the cars running at the head of the field once again, we are certainly hoping to see more crews returning to the series. Justin Lawson, Julian Wilkes, where are you? Matthew and Daniel Evans would lead the way in the 1400 C-Class amongst our results at this stage. 7th place overall as well in the Peugeot. And behind them in the class and overall leaderboard were Richard Garnett and Rob Gillham. 8th place for the pair at this stage, 54 seconds though, the deficit to that class lead. And third in that class would belong to Jamil Shah and Katerina Prokopo, a little further back on the overall leaderboard as well in 9th. There'd be early frustration though for Pete Gorst and Phil King, breaking a drive shaft on the second stage of the day, pulling over to let the other crews pass before continuing. It was game over for a result, but they would continue to get some seat time and have some fun out there on these Rally Nuts stages. In the Rally First category, there would be just 2 crews out this weekend, and the lead there would belong to this man, Graham Roberts, with Stephen Spear alongside. Out in the series after competing in various cars and enjoying the competition here in the BTRDA. And for Joseph Keane and Paul Barbett, it would be second in the class. Not as much experience in the driver's seat for Joseph, but still going well nonetheless. Another bit of early attrition for Sam and Liam Johnson from the category. They snap a gear linkage in the very first stage of the day. So with 4 stages complete, it's business as usual at the top of the leaderboard. 2 more stages left to fight it out for that victory. On to the second half of the day then, and there'd be no change in the Rally First category as we see Joseph Keane and Paul Barbett taking that second position that they'd held all day. That, of course, meant it was a category victory for Graham Roberts and Stephen Spear. A good weekend for the pair to take, by the end of the day, a convincing victory. By their own admission, they were just out for some fun this afternoon. It would be some interesting lines as well, being driven by Pete Gorst and Phil King, sometimes a little over the limit. After that drive shaft earlier on, though, they could be forgiven for going out there and having a bit of a throw around. They end the rally in one piece, though, with 9th place. For Richard Garnett and Rob Gillam, it will be 8th. No change on the leaderboard for the pair in the afternoon stages, taking 2nd place in 1400C. And taking the class victory would be Matthew and Daniel Evans. They get themselves a minute's advantage in that position by the end of the event, 7th on the overall leaderboard. For Noel Lappin and Will Atkins, meanwhile, it will be 6th. A strong result for the Escort pair, but only just holding off Evans by a single second. Things just hadn't gone to plan though this weekend for Dave and Toby Brick. Unable to challenge for the win, they were uncharacteristically off the pace and eventually end the event with 5th overall in the Corsa. That slip down the order then for Brick would of course see some movement on the results around them. And for Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt, that meant a move to 4th overall in the Micra. It would be another podium this weekend for Steve Black and Paul Morris. 3rd place for the pair, another strong result even if it wasn't top of that family battle. And there would be nothing else that Chris Powell and Jim Lewis could do to take the win. They try everything in their armoury in that Sunbeam, but they'd have to settle for 2nd place. But with competition this close and exciting, it wasn't a result that they'd be worried about taking away this weekend. Just happy to be in an exciting fight like this. That, of course, means that 1400 veteran Callum Black, if we can call him that, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire extraordinaire Michael Gilby are able to keep hold of that lead through to the finish to make it win number 2. Of course, they have a serious eye on the championship now going into the next round on the Plains Rally in May. So confirmation then of that result for Black. A strong end to a close rally. And win number 2 this season for the MG pair.
Well, we've had some brilliant battles here in Wales for the Rally Nuts stages, and how fitting that we finish on our 1400 podium with the cars running at the front of the field again. I just have a feeling we're going to get a bit of a renaissance, and let's have some more of those 1400 entries out and let's bolster that category here in the BTRDA. We'll see you next time out here on Special Stage. Thank you for watching.
Care 40 for Rateable Crest Titans.